The Christchurch mosque shooter was a white nationalist. I've stated on numerous occasions that I regard white nationalism as a silly position. I've been condemned by white nationalists for polluting my white bloodline because my wife is half Asian, which makes our 5 sons a quarter Asian. What I find most interesting in this discussion, however, is how so many people who condemn various forms of nationalism will praise Muhammad, who was a Muslim nationalist and an ethno-nationalist. I want to keep this video short, so let's look at 2 passages. If you'd like to go into more depth about Muhammad's ethno-nationalism and even ethno-supremacy, according to which his language and culture and religion would dominate the entire world, let me know. But for now, we'll focus on Muhammad's Muslim nationalism. Sahih Muslim, 4594. Jabir bin Abdullah said, Umar bin al-Khattab said that he heard the Messenger of Allah say, I shall certainly expel the Jews and Christians from the Arabian Peninsula until I leave only Muslims there. What kind of nation did Muhammad want? He wanted a nation made up exclusively of Muslims. Jews and Christians had to be expelled. Let's read another. This is from a section on wills. When Muhammad was on his deathbed after being poisoned by a Jewish woman, he issued his final commands. So we get to see what was most important to Muhammad. Sahih Muslim, 4232. It was narrated that Sa'id bin Jubair said, Ibn Abbas said, Thursday, and what a Thursday. Then he wept until his tears wet the pebbles. I said, O Abu Abbas, what about Thursday? He said, the Messenger of Allah took a turn for the worse. And he said, Come to me and I will dictate for you a document, so you will not go astray after I am gone. But they argued about that, and it is not appropriate to argue in the presence of a prophet. They said, What is the matter with him? Is he delirious? Try to find out what he means. He said, Let me be. The state in which I am now is better. I urge you to do 3 things. Expel the idolaters from the Arabian Peninsula and reward the delegations as I used to do. Then he remained silent about the 3rd, or he said it and I was caused to forget it. So, one of Muhammad's dying wishes was for his followers to expel non-Muslims from the Arabian Peninsula. Again, what kind of nation did he want? He wanted a nation made up exclusively of Muslims. Everyone else had to be expelled. Christians, Jews, and polytheists had been living in Arabia for centuries, but they all had to convert or flee or be executed. Now imagine a politician today saying, we must expel Muslims from our country and leave only non-Muslims. He would be condemned as a racist and a bigot and an Islamophobe. But Muhammad, who is the pattern of conduct for all Muslims, demanded as his dying wish that his followers expel all non-Muslims from the nation. What does that make him? It doesn't make him anything, because Muhammad always gets a free pass. Not only is Muhammad not a racist or a bigot or a Christianophobe or a Jewophobe for demanding that Christians and Jews be expelled from Arabia, but also you'll be called a racist and a bigot for so much as questioning or drawing attention to what he said. The hypocrisy here is astounding. But let's see if we can figure this out. Those of you who gladly condemn people for saying, this nation is for my group only, but have no objection whatsoever to Muhammad saying, this nation is for my group only, why the inconsistency? Why the double standards? I think I know why. There are 2 different categories of hypocrites here, with 2 different reasons for their hypocrisy. First, there are Muslims who are blasting white nationalists and other kinds of nationalists for their bigotry or xenophobia. These same Muslims wouldn't dream of condemning Muhammad for being a Muslim nationalist and an ethno-nationalist and an Islamic supremacist. Why? Because Islamic supremacy is built into the fabric of Islam. They just don't see the inconsistency as a problem. A white nationalist is wrong for claiming that white people should control a nation because a white nationalist has no basis for making this claim. But a Muslim nationalist isn't wrong for claiming that Muslims should control a nation because Muslims have been ordered to expel non-Muslims by their prophet who has a stamp of approval from Allah. So the inconsistency is part of Islam. Second, there are non-Muslim leftists who are blasting white nationalists and other kinds of nationalists for their bigotry or xenophobia. Like Muslims, these leftists wouldn't dream of condemning Muhammad for being a Muslim nationalist or an ethno-nationalist or an Islamic supremacist, but their reasons for the inconsistency are different. The main reason leftists don't apply the same standards to Muhammad that they apply to any random white nationalist is that leftists are undercover white supremacists. They're white supremacists who don't realize that they're white supremacists. They don't apply the same standards to Muhammad or to other Muslims that they apply to white Westerners because they believe that Muhammad and Arabs and Pakistanis and Afghanis are inferior to white Westerners and that they're completely incapable of living up to the moral standards of white Westerners. So they give Muhammad, Arabs, Pakistanis, and Afghanis a free pass when they break the rules. Leftists view non-whites as their pets. You don't hold your pets to the same standards that you hold human beings to. Now, think about the clash here. There are Islamic supremacists and white nationalists and white supremacist leftists and all kinds of other groups. People from all of these camps are demanding action against the other camps. How does this not end in a bloodbath? We hope that Islamic supremacists will realize that they're following the most obvious false prophet in history. We hope that white supremacist leftists will drop their racism and start applying the same moral standards to everyone. We hope that white nationalists will stop listening to the morons who are telling them that they should be obsessed with skin color. We hope. In the meantime, since consistency is what always seems to be missing when accusations of bigotry and racism and Islamophobia are flying back and forth, I think we need to keep drawing attention to hypocrisy. A good place to start is to ask white supremacist leftists and Islamic supremacists why they have absolutely no problem with Muhammad, history's whitest prophet, demanding that Christians and Jews be expelled from his Muslim nation. Take a screenshot of one of the hadiths I quoted in this video, share it with people, and in the comments section, tell us what happens.